Attention students, my name is Advocate Sokoni. I am the internal moderator of your module, that is now the legal drafting. So I make this effort in order to make sure that everybody knows exactly what is expected of them when you are given a question like the one that you were given on the 6th of September 2022, that the test that you wrote in your class with Mr. Buthelezi. Yeah, so the question was all about drafting particulars of claim, and I have seen your answer sheet and I am not satisfied at all. It's an embarrassment. You cannot draft like that at your level. You are now at level 2, I understand. You should be knowing how to draft particulars of claim of claims. It's not your fault, it's my fault. I should have made sure that before you write the test, you know exactly what is meant by drafting particulars of claim. So please pay attention, because you are going to have a question for your exams regarding drafting particulars of claim, and I'll make sure that you have this question in your second level, third level, and in your final year. In your final year, you will be in my class, and I'm expecting you to be able to draft particulars of claim in a divorce matter. So let me start by giving you a tuition on drafting particulars of claim. When you are drafting the particulars of claim, you will start by, for instance, you are just given a question to say draft a particulars of claim. Okay, because here you are not asked to also draft the actual summons, where you will be warning the other party to file an intention to defend, and warning him or her about the 10 days that he has to comply to your instructions, and the 20 days to file a plea. Here we are only asked to draft the particulars of claim. This is a drafting class, so we are not concerned with the story. So you don't write a story and support with case law. There will be no case law here. It's only about drafting a document for court. This is how you draft a document for court. You start by drafting the seat of the court. What do I mean by the seat of the court? You will say in the regional court for the district of King Cetshwayo, held in Embangeni. That is where that's what you need to do. I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. So it's going to be in the regional court for the regional division of KwaZulu-Natal, in King Cetshwayo, right? In fact, it's in the regional court for the region of King Cetshwayo, held in Embangeni. That's the seat of the court. Then you come to the case number. So on your right hand side of your paper, you will write the case number. It could be case number 1020 of 2022, right? So you write 1020/2022. That is the case number. The case number is very important. You can never draft anything without the case number, because the case number makes it possible for the clerk of the court to trace your case, your file, because your file will be case number 2020, and the next file will be 2021, the other one will be 2022, and so forth. So it's important. If it's not 192, the file here will be 192, and then the other file for another different case will be file 193. So you are writing a case number in order to differentiate amongst cases that are in this particular case for different cases. It cannot be case numbers for the same area of law. It's is the case number for so you've got the seat of the court. That's now the regional court in the region of King Cetshwayo, held in Empangeni. You've got your case number. Case number is important so that we don't mix the files. We know this file number is number 192 and it deals with a divorce. And the other number, the other file will be maybe 181 of the same year, dealing with a different case. Maybe it's breach of contract case, or the other one will be somebody suing for maybe a lease agreement or something like that. So the case number is important, because if you write a wrong case number, then you must know that your document that you have drafted are lost. So it is important to have that case number. Just immediately on the side, I will show you how it looks like. So you're going to do it like that. Right, let's carry on. Now, after that, then you will draw on the left-hand side, just below the same line where you wrote the case number, just below, maybe say one line, and you will write in the matter between, right? In the matter between, and then you put a hyphen. In the matter between, then below you write the name of the parties. So you start with the plaintiff. Who is the plaintiff? What is the plaintiff? Because you must know what every meaning. You don't just sing plaintiff and you don't know what it means. A plaintiff is somebody who starts the action, because these are action proceedings, and you must make a difference between action proceedings and application proceedings. In action proceedings, you will have a plaintiff and a defendant, right? That's action. In application proceedings, you will have an applicant and a respondent. I guess you've got that distinction clear. So forget about application. We're not dealing with application now. And also, I've seen students writing plaintiff and accused. You cannot write accused. Accused only falls under the criminal procedure. If we are doing criminal procedure, then we will talk of the state versus the accused. It's always the state versus the accused, or the accused versus the state, or the appellant versus the state, right? Or the state versus the appellant. It can never be any other thing, because it is criminal procedure. Now, here we are talking about the area of law. Here is civil procedure. So once you say civil procedure, once you identify the area of law as civil procedure, what are you dealing with? You are now dealing with the plaintiff and the defendant, right? Let us forget about application for now. But it also happens that you carry on with the application after you have done your, when you are applying for summary judgment, making an application for summary judgment, then it differs. But let us now deal with the plaintiff and the defendant. So in this case, I will have my plaintiff as Ndumiso Owethu Ntshangase, the plaintiff, right? Against his wife, and his wife will be Nokuthula Ngwenya. So we've got two people. It's Ntshangase and Ngwenya, right? They are into this divorce. Okay, obviously, for the purposes of this exercise, because there is a marriage between the two people, so Nokuthula Ngwenya will be Nokuthula Ntshangase, because she is Mrs. Ntshangase, right? And it will be Mr. Ntshangase versus Mrs. Ntshangase, which is Nokuthula. Okay, so we'll have the plaintiff will say Mr. Ndumiso Owethu Ntshangase versus Nokuthula Ntshangase, and then in brackets we can write the near will be, it will be NWE in brackets, you can say Ngwenya, because Nokuthula, before she got married to Mr. Nchangase, she was Nokuthula Ngwenya. Okay, then the next step will be, now you are writing underneath that, then you must draw 2 lines, right? You must draw 2 lines, and between those lines you must have just a simple writing. You don't write a story, just say particulars of claim. Between those 2 parallel lines, you draw 2 parallel lines, and there must be a gap in between. There must be a gap between the words. You don't write on the line. Let there be a gap. You say a line, and then there's a small gap, and then you write particulars of claim. You leave a gap underneath, and then you draw another line. So we've got our heading. That is now the subject. What are we talking about? So the court can see, what are we talking about here? We are talking about particulars of claim. So these are particulars of claim, right? What are particulars of claim? That is very important. Now we start with particulars of claim. When you start with particulars of claim, they must be under paragraph. So we'll have paragraph 1, and you write the paragraph in the middle of the page, and then just leave a small gap, and then underneath you start your particulars of claim. What are particulars of claim? Particulars of claim are the parties to this action. You start with the parties to this action. Who are the parties in this action? We've said the parties in the action is the Shangases, is Nokuthula Shangase, near Ngwenya, and also Ndumiso Owethu Nchangase. These are the parties in this particular matter, which is a divorce between the 2 of them, right? So you will start with the plaintiff. So you will say the plaintiff in this, just like that, the plaintiff in this matter is Ndumiso Owethu Nchangase, right? An adult male residing at number 2 Umtomboti Road, Mbali, right? Mbali Township, which is also in Empangeni, okay? Or you can say number 21 Umtomboti Road, Eskaweni, right? So this will fall under the jurisdiction of Empangeni. So you must be careful that when you write an address, you can't write an address of somebody who stays in Joburg, and yet you said the seat of the court is Empangeni. It is compulsory that the address of the plaintiff at least must be within the jurisdiction of that court, or else both parties, that is now the defendant and the plaintiff, must be residing within that jurisdiction of that court. What do I mean by the jurisdiction of the court? Like I've said, what region is it? So it's a region under the King Cetshwayo district municipality. So if now you talk of Ilembe district municipality, that means that will be a case held in Stanger court. So you can't take somebody who stays in Stanger and bring his case to Empangeni. So it will be somebody who stays within that municipal district who will be able to bring a matter to Empangeni court. So it is compulsory that these the individuals who are involved in this matter will be either staying in Eskaweni or Ngwelezane or Emachana or Wesakamthethwa or Emandlanzini or all these areas around that are under the jurisdiction of the regional court in Empangeni. So I hope that is clear so far. Then you start with the plaintiff in this matter is Ndumiso Owethu Nchangase, an adult male, right, of so many years, ID number, you write the ID number as well, residing at number 2 Mlilo Road, Ngwelezane Township, Empangeni, right? And then that is now That's now the first paragraph. Second paragraph, it will be the defendant is Noguthula Ntshangase near, in brackets, Ngwenya, an adult female residing at 21 Umlilo Road, Ngwelezane, Empangeni. And then you've got them. Then the third paragraph will be now you confirming the jurisdiction of court, and you will say the honorable court, right? The above honorable court has jurisdiction because both parties reside within its jurisdiction, or reside within the district of the court, or the region of the court. You can state that the above honorable court has jurisdiction because both parties to this matter reside within the area of this court, that the area of jurisdiction of this court, right? You've got, that's the third paragraph. And then you come to the fourth paragraph. That is where now you start now narrating the story. This is not the particulars of claim. What are the particulars, right? But now you're saying the parties were married in terms of the community, in terms of civil marriage, in community of property, on the 27th of April 1994, right, at Madlankala Hall, right, in Empangeni, right? That's now the how many? The fourth particular of claim, right? 2 children, Nomusa Ntshangase and Leletu Ntshangase, were born out of this marriage. That's another paragraph, right? And then you carry on, and stating all the particulars, because here we are dealing. Students, I know you have not heard me. Let me repeat this. Let's do it perfectly. We are dealing with particulars of claim. For these purposes, although it's not always like that, if you have studied with summons, with combined summons, you will then combined summons look like this. This is combined. This is combined summons. It's written there, combined summons, and it's between the lines. We've got the combined summons, and it's between the lines. This is combined summons. You've got the seat of the court, right? I have deleted the names, but you've got the seat of the court there, and then you've got the combined summons. That's where you start the summons. But we are not starting there. We are starting with particulars of claim. So it's going to be particulars of claim, not the combined summons. Okay, right. So ours will start like this. This is particulars of claim. Can you see the lines? Can you see the gap? Can you see one just underneath the lines? That is now particulars of claim. This is how we do it. Okay, this is how we do it. That will be particulars of claim. That's how we draw it. But in this case, we'll start with the seat of the court and say, in the regional court for the regional division of King Cetshwayo, held in Empangeni. Okay, I want you to write it like that. And then we've got particulars of claim. I've shown you how you write it and how you draw the lines. Then you will say, we know our 2 parties, Nokuthula and Ndumiso. So you'll say start with the plaintiff. So the plaintiff is Ndumiso Owethu Ntshangase, an adult unemployed male, presently residing at number 2 Umlilo Road, Ngwelezane Road in Empangeni, Rail, KwaZulu-Natal. Herein, and then in brackets you write, herein referred to to as the plaintiff in brackets. So you've got the first paragraph. That is the first paragraph. Then you come to the second paragraph. You say the defendant is Nokuthula, right? Nokuthula Ntshangase, right? An adult female employed as a security guard in an institution whose name is unknown to the plaintiff. Defendant's land known physical address was 21 Umlilo Road, Ngwelezane, next to the shopping center, right? And then in brackets you say herein referred to the defendant, but whose further and better particulars are to the plaintiff unknown, because you see within a divorce matter you will find that the parties are no longer staying together. They were staying together when they were married, but now you must specify that the defendant is no longer known to the plaintiff. So our plaintiff, we said our plaintiff is Owethu Ntshangase, and the defendant will be Nokuthula Ntshangase. And then you can also state that Nokuthula Ntshangase were born, right? You must say born Ngwenya. When you talk of Nokuthula Ntshangase, you will say in brackets born Ngwenya. That means formerly she was Ngwenya, and then she changed her surname because of marriage to that of Ntshangase. Okay, so we've got the second paragraph. I think everybody is clear. You do not write stories when you do partitions of claim. You just put the names and an adult male, right? Unemployed adult male, that is now Mr. Ntshangase, and then you put Nokuthula as the defendant. Then let's come now to the third paragraph. The plaintiff is residing and domiciled, right, within the area of jurisdiction of the above honorable court, and has been so resident for a period of more than 12 months, right? That is important. You need to state that 12 months because sometimes if somebody is no longer staying in that or has not been staying there for a period of 12 months, then you can't say that person is a resident in the jurisdiction of that court. So for a person to be able to bring a matter to the particular court, he must have been residing in that jurisdiction for how many? For at least 12 months. Nothing less than 12 months. It must be 12 months. So otherwise, you can bring the matter in the jurisdiction of the court where he has been residing before he came and stayed in your jurisdiction for 2 months. So if a person stays in the jurisdiction for 2 months, then you cannot bring the matter to that court. That's okay. We're not dealing with that, but you need to state that as well. That now the third paragraph. Let me repeat it. The plaintiff is residing and domiciled within the area of jurisdiction of the above honorable court and has been so resident for a period of more than 12 months. Okay, then the court will have jurisdiction, right? And then we come to, because what is important here, we are not going to state anything about the defendant. We are dealing with the plaintiff. He is one stating his case, okay? In this case, the defendant will be regarded as having failed to file a plea. I will tell you when I see you what a plea, or in my next video I will tell you what do I mean by a plea, right? So the fourth paragraph, now this is paragraph number 4. Paragraph number 4 will say the parties hereto were married to each other in community of property in terms of civil rights. Be careful with civil rights. When I taught some students about civil rights, they wrote civil rights, rights as in R-I-G-H-T. I'm not talking about those rights. I'm talking about the ritual. That is now the ritual that is used to consummate a marriage. Marriage that is consummated in church will be in according to the civil rights. Okay, so be careful of civil rights. The rights that I'm talking about will be R-I-T-E-S. That's where the word ritual comes from. So it's civil rights. On the 26th day of January 2012 at Ngwelezane Township in Empangeni, and the marriage still subsists, right? So you need to state that the marriage between the two protagonists still subsists. What do I mean by still subsists? I mean that the marriage is still on. Okay, so this is how, have a look, pause the video, practice how to draw partitions of claim, the lines and the paragraphs. I am going to show it to you now. Here we go. You've got it in front of your eyes. This is now the partitions of claim. This is paragraph 1 that talks of the plaintiff. This is paragraph 2 that talks of the defendant. And the paragraph 3 that talks of the jurisdiction, right? This is paragraph 4 that talks of what? Talks of when was the marriage consummated. So you've got to have this, right? You've got to pause the video and have a look how it's done. This is it. You start there with partitions of claim. For the purpose of this court, we do not have the seat of the court. Otherwise, before the partitions of claim, you will have something called the seat of the court. This is how it looks like. Let me show it to you, right? Then the seat of the court looks like this. Okay, so you will say in the regional court for the region of KwaZulu-Natal, held in Empangeni. This is it, right? You can now, the new citation will say in the region of King Bechwayo. That is also correct, but this one also is correct. And you've got the seat of the court, and you've got the name and the plaintiff and the name of the defendant. You've got the in the matter between, and you also got the what? The case number. You've got the case number. All right, that is very important. And then you'll say in the matter between, and then you state the parties, right? That is it. That is it. Okay. Right, now let us carry on. We've got that, and that is how it looks like. Then we carry on with the particulars of claim, because what is important here is the particulars of claim. Right, and then we come to paragraph 5. Okay, paragraph 5, or the particulars of claim. Remember, you write your paragraph on the center of the page and you leave a gap. And also, when you are typing, sometimes you'll be asked to type. I haven't told you this. You must also use font number 12 and 1.5 spacing. Why do you do that? Because in most cases, people who are magistrates and judges are old people like myself. They don't see. You know, I cannot see without my glasses. I need to wear glasses to see properly. Without glasses, I can't see a thing. Everything is blurred because I'm an old man. Okay, now let's come to paragraph 5. Paragraph 5, you must talk about the children born out of this marriage, right? This is what we say. There are 2 minor children born out of the marriage and are still attending school and are not self-supportive and depend upon the plaintiff for shelter and maintenance. Okay, you've got that. Then let's talk about the children in the same paragraph, but you leave a space, say double space, and you will say the children born of the said marriages are, and you write, because this is paragraph 5, you write 5.1, right? And the name of the child, Sota Saga Njangas. a minor boy born on the 12th of December 2013, right? And then you talk about the second child. You will say 5.2. Nozibele Jangase, a minor girl born on the 18th of August 2017. So you've got minor children. So we are done with the particulars regarding children. And then we come to paragraph 6. Paragraph 6 will be, it will be in the best interest of the minor children if an order is made that, and then you say 6.1, the plaintiff and the defendant retain their parental rights and responsibilities in respect of the said minor children as contemplated by Section 19 and Section 20 of the Children's Act 38 of 2005, read with Section 18 of Section 30, and Section 30 of the said Act. 6.2. The primary resident, we no longer say the custody. You must never talk about custody. Now it's called primary residence. The primary residence of the minor children shall be with the plaintiff, which is Mr. Jangas. And point number 6.3, right? Point number 6.3, and defendant, that is 6.3, defendant to have reasonable contacts with the minor children. Alternative school holidays, December and January, festive, in brackets, holidays, and on special dates like birthdays, Mother's or Father's Days. Right? That is, now we are giving what was called first access. There's no longer access now. It's called contact. Right? So you don't write access. You must write what? Contact. So you'll say 6.3, the defendant to have reasonable contacts with the minor children, alternative school holidays, meaning the children, if the children were with the father in December, that means they will be with the mother in June, with the June holidays, and alternatively, and then the other December, they will be with the mother. So that's the alternative. Same thing applies to days like Father's Day, the birthday of the children, school holidays. You interchange in order to give everyone a chance to have contact with the children. This is how we put it. This is how we put it, and you must make notes because we are going to write this test again, and this is exactly how I want you to write it. Do not write any other thing, but write this. Here we go. Have a look. Have a look. This is paragraph 5. You've got paragraph 5. Right, you've got paragraph 5. You've got the name of the children. I've got blend the name because this is real world. This is the name of the children. And then you've got the paragraph 6. Okay. You've got paragraph 6 with all the sub-paragraphs. So you've got that. Okay. This is how you should write it. Okay, this is how you should write it. Do not do anything because you're going to fail. So you write it like that. Pause it and just write it. So you've got it. That's it. All right. Now let's come to paragraph 7. Paragraph 7. Paragraph 7 will be, now you will start to say paragraph 7 on top, and then you will have on the side. I'll show you how it's done. 7.1. Now you're talking about the marriage. You must talk about the marriage. What is the cause of this marriage to disintegrate? There is no longer a marriage between these people now. It's on the rocks, and a decree of divorce is going to be granted. This is what we are busy doing. You are drafting that somebody will wake up without a wife tomorrow, right? So here we go. 7.1. The marriage relationship between the parties has reached such a state of disintegration that there are no reasonable prospects of restoration of the normal marriage relationship, in that the defendant, that is now the wife, in that the defendant fails, that is now A. Okay, we've got there a subparagraph which is 7.1, subparagraph A. That's the first one. Now we're stating the reason as to why this marriage, we feel that this marriage is disintegrated, that there are no reasonable prospect of it being restored to what it was, during honeymoon. Remember, during honeymoon, everything was fine, but things now, everything is on the rocks. It's a bumpy ride. Everybody wants out of this marriage, right? Here are the reasons now. We're giving the reasons for you must never, ever, in your partitions of claim, ever write anything that has got to do with one partner cheating, because cheating will never be a ground for divorce. I repeat, cheating, adultery, infidelity will never be a ground for divorce. Here are the grounds of divorce. A, the defendant, A, fails to show any love and affection for the plaintiff. B, subjected the plaintiff to massive verbal and emotional abuse, persistently denied the plaintiff her conjugal rights, shows no interest in the family life of the parties. That is D. E, has for some time exhibited no interest in the parties' marriage relationship. F, has failed to maintain the minor or care for the minor children. Full stop. Those are how many? 7 grounds for divorce. You hear here, there is nothing that says somebody cheated or anybody did anything. So here we are talking about somebody who did what? Who failed to show any love and affection, shows no interest in the family, and who has subjected the plaintiff to a massive verbal and emotional abuse, persistently denied the plaintiff his, because here we're dealing with the man, his conjugal rights. Okay, you have denied the plaintiff his conjugal rights. What are conjugal rights? Conjugal rights, in simple terms, it's where you are making your wife a factory to produce children. In that process was called conjugal rights, because you are busy making your wife a factory to produce children. It is called conjugal rights. So those are the reasons that you need to state. And also, let's continue with paragraph 7. So we go to paragraph 7.2, because we are done with 7.1 from A to F. Right now we come to 7.2. Right. As a result of the defendant's aforementioned behavior, the plaintiff has lost love and affection for the defendant, believes that the parties are no longer emotionally and physically compatible. C, has been compelled to leave the parties' shared homestead on 18 July 2019 due to the defendant's misconduct. So this is what has happened. The plaintiff has decided to leave the defendant, Nokuthula, because Nokuthula Ntshangase is rough. She is abusing, she is insulting, she is doing all the sort, and she is depriving the conjugal right. So he decided to leave. Right? D, finds the aforegoing situation intolerable and inconsistent with the continued marriage relationship and intends to get divorced. Right? Then we go to paragraph 7.3, that is now under paragraph 7. So paragraph 7 is quite huge. And we say the parties in the above circumstances are incompatible. That means they don't match. They are incompatible, have become estranged from each other for more than 2 years. So they've been living apart for more than 2 years. That's a ground, that's a strong ground of divorce. You must always state that. Have not been living together as husband and wife for more than 2 years. That is now C. And then 7.4, have lost all love and affection for each other and regard the marriage as irretrievably broken. Right? That is now paragraph 7. So we come to paragraph 8. Paragraph will say the marriage relationship has irretrievably broken down. So it's confirmed. So this is how you write all of that. Have a look. Here we go. This is it. Now this is paragraph 7. So you've got paragraph 7, and you can stop it and start writing notes, or make me repeat slowly. This is it. This is it. You stop it right there and you write. And then you stop it right there and you write. And you pause it right there and you write. And you pause it right there and you write. That's paragraph 8. So we are done. This is it. Okay? So you've got everything there written in front of you. This is how you write it. You don't write a story, or you don't write an essay. You write partitions of claim. Okay, of course, we've got that. Right, and then we've got paragraph 8. So now let's come to paragraph 9. Right. This is where now we are doing something called a prayer. You can never, ever do partitions of claim without a prayer. After paragraph 8, then you must do a prayer. There must be a prayer. If there's no prayer, you must know the court will never grant the decree of divorce. Right? So this is what you will write. Wherefore, the plaintiff prays for judgment. Remember judgment. Be careful about judgment. Judgment in legal language is Judgm. There is no E. Please don't write an E. If you write an E and I see your script, I will give you not for that point. So write, plaintiff prays for judgment in her favor against the defendant in the following terms. 9.1, because you must write on top paragraph 9. You've got paragraph 9 on top, and then you must write 9.1. This is what you are praying for. A decree of divorce. That paper that says you are no longer married. Decree of divorce. And then 9.2, in order that the plaintiff and the defendant retains whichever asset of the joint estate are in their possession. So you will, if you have a pension at GPF, you keep your pension. The plaintiff will keep his pension, and the defendant will keep her pension. They will keep their car, and the other car will be kept. Their cars. Right. And then point 9.3, that the plaintiff and the defendant retains their parental rights and responsibility in respect of the 2 minor children as contemplated by Section 19 and 20 of the Children's Act 38 of 2005, read with Section 18 and Section 30 of that Act. 9.4, the said minor children should primarily reside with the plaintiff. Right? Point 9.5, that the defendant shall have reasonable contact with the said minor children in all reasonable times, at all reasonable times. Let's repeat, that the defendant shall have reasonable contact with the said minor children at all reasonable times. Okay, point 9.6, that the defendant shall contribute the sum of 500 rands or 1,500 rand if you like per month, depending on how much you agree on in your deed of settlement. We are not dealing with that settlement here. We're only dealing with particulars of payment towards the maintenance, medical and educational expenses of the said minor children. Right? 9.7, cost of the suit in the action is, so you say cost of the suit if the action is defendant, right? That is, now you are saying if the defendant files an intention to defend, so she will have to pay for this action. So we are saying cost of suit if the action is defendant. So if it's not defendant, so the defendant is not going to pay anything. You will bear the cost as the plaintiff. That's what you are saying. 9.8, you must state that is all, whenever you're doing a prayer, always say further and or alternative relief. That is not the relief that will be decided by the court. Fine, then we've got that. Okay, this is how it looks like. Okay, this is how it looks like. You've got it there. That's now where here we did not write paragraph 9, so it's going to be paragraph 9 on top in the middle, and then we write the sub paragraph 9.1, 9.2, 9.2 as it is. You go there, you pause, and you write that. So you've got everything. This is what you were supposed to write in your test. This is what you're going to be writing in the coming test, and that's the end of the partitions of claim. Okay, you write like that, and then the last part, you can write this, where was this done, dated at, and we put the date, and we must also put the signature of the attorneys. If you're writing up the partitions of claim, there must be a signature by an attorney or an advocate, and then you give the address of the parties. You've got the address there, right? This is it. So that is what we wanted when we said draw the partitions of claim. So I hope everybody is on board. Nobody's going to fail, because we are going to rewrite your test, because I want everybody to get 100%. I'm giving you 100%. For every mistake that you do, that I've shown you, and you do your own thing, I'm going to minus 5. Every mistake is minus 5, but if there are no mistake, I'm giving you 100%. Good luck.